Hello, everybody. It is Saturday, March 14th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. Let's get into it. Apologies for the late upload today. I was at Giants Fan Fest, and that was a ton of fun. And we're going to be doing a lot of baseball talk today, so we might as well start with the baseball. From the World Baseball Classic yesterday, there were two games, two pretty big ones, quarterfinal games, and these two teams that won will move on to face each other tomorrow afternoon. The first game was the Dominican Republic against Korea. Final score 10-0. A mercy rule in the quarterfinal is crazy. Christopher Sanchez went 5 innings and he struck out eight no earned runs, no runs at all. Who hit a homer for the Dominican? Austin Wells hit a 3-run bomb. But there were plenty of RBIs. They did score 10 runs, like I mentioned. So just a big, big win for the Dominican over Korea that will end Korea's tournament in the quarterfinal round. DR looks scary, and they move on. Let's move on to the other game. The United States beat Canada 5-3 last night. It was a lot closer than a lot of people thought it would be. I mean, shoot, but let's just talk about the different aspects of the game. We'll start with Logan Webb. Logan Webb was the winning pitcher, also the starting pitcher in yesterday's game for the United States. He went 4 2/3 through 71 pitches to get those outs. Did not give up a run on 4 hits and a walk, and he struck out 5. I love what I saw from the Giants ace pitching for the United States in the WBC. He's now 2-0. This will probably be his last start, considering that the championship game, if we even make it there, is on Tuesday, which is a couple days away. So it does not look like Webby will be pitching again. Just excellent tournament for him. 2 starts, 2 wins for him and Team USA. I liked what I saw. I thought the stuff was filthy. The efficiency was also very good. He was able to get almost 5 innings while still being underneath the limit. And I loved what I saw from Webb. And in a playoff atmosphere, he looked ready to go. And it was thanks to him, really, that Team USA was able to win this game because the United States did not score a lot of runs. That's where we're going to go next. Um, I said it in yesterday's episode before the game. I said I wanted to see how Team USA was going to be energy wise, seeing if anything was different from the pool play, and there was some difference, but not enough. I don't feel like. I mean, if you look at, like I've been saying before, you look at other teams around the tournament, you're seeing what they're doing offensively, and then you look at what Team USA is doing, and it's just not enough. And it almost wasn't enough to beat Canada today. The United States only scored 5 runs in this game over the full 9 innings. They had 8 hits, and it's just not enough from the offense. Still, we have yet to see this offense play up to their full potential. And I think a lot of that is the United States, for basically every game this tournament, have played down to the level of their opponent. They're playing down to competition. They're not destroying teams like they should be doing. They're letting them stay in the game for far too long. And even in this one, it went down to the wire. They had a save situation for Mason Miller. That's not what you want. You want to have, you know, not your best pitchers in the game because you want to be up by a zillion. 5-3, it's not good enough, especially considering you have to play the Dominican Republic in tomorrow's game, who, in my opinion, they are the best team in the tournament. 5 runs is not going to cut it against a team like that. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. I'm honestly not very confident in our chances. I guess we'll preview that after we finish talking about this game, but and we'll talk about that more tomorrow. But I don't know, man. It still doesn't feel like enough. It feels like USA is playing down to their opponent's level, and that is not something you can be doing, especially in this round, which is a playoff round. If you lose, you go home. You still haven't seen maximum effort. You still haven't seen the full potential of this team, and you got to question their involvement. You got to question their level of caring about this tournament and this game because from what we're seeing, doesn't look like they're too invested in it, unlike other countries that are probably going to go farther in this tournament than us because of their investment. So we'll talk about that more, I guess. But for Canada, I mean, they have a good roster, and I think you got to give Canada some credit for staying in the game for the entirety of it. I mean, Bo Naylor had a big home run in this game. Otto Lopez was nice. They have a good team. Their pitching was surprising to me. They did a lot better than I expected, but yeah, it's got to be better for the U.S. Props to Canada for winning their group and for making it to the playoff round and giving the United States a real challenge. You do want to mention Mason Miller, though. He went one inning pitched and struck out the side. That was one of the more dominant outings I've ever seen. Mason Miller has some special pitches. You look at the fastball, it goes up to 104 at max velocity. The slider is in the 90s, and it is disgusting. And just those two pitches alone have made him one of the best relievers in baseball. And probably in a couple of years' time, he will be the best closer in baseball, period. This kid has potential to be one of the greats in the history of the sport coming out of the bullpen. And I'm very lucky. We're very lucky that he's on Team USA. For Giants fans, though, it was bad enough having him in Oakland for 2 times a year, and now he's in San Diego, so we got to see him upwards of 4 times a year. So that's not fun, but he is a special talent, and you got to give him his flowers because he was magnificent yesterday, picking up the save for Team USA in the first round. We got some games going on today, though, for the WBC. We had Italy and Puerto Rico, two teams that are pretty good teams. Puerto Rico, the big thing about them is that they don't have all their stars because Baez, Lindor, and Correa all weren't able to go. But you look at their lineup; they have a lot of good players. It's just not as strong as it has been in previous iterations of the tournament. They do still have Seth Lugo, their ace, so we'll see how he goes today. But um, I would think Italy would win this game. Just they did go 4-0 in pool play. They are the strong team. They're hitting homers like crazy. So Italy would expect to win that one. And if Italy were to win, they would take on the winner of Venezuela and Japan. And in my opinion, this is the best matchup from the first round of the WBC. These are the two most evenly stacked teams. This is probably going to be the most competitive game out of them all because we have one team, the defending champions, Japan. We know who they have. They have Otani, they have Suzuki, they have Yoshida, Okamoto, Murakami. They have tons of MLB talent. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to be getting the start in this one for Japan. He is probably the Japanese's best pitcher. And then you look at Venezuela, who also have a very strong team. They've kind of been in the Dominican shadow. They're in the same group. They did give them a tough time. Venezuela gave the Dominican a tough time in their matchup a couple days ago, but it wasn't enough to beat them. I still think that Venezuela, if it wasn't for the DR being in their group, they probably could have won the whole thing. If you put them in Pool A or Pool B, I think Venezuela probably wins both of those groups if they had the chance. But they are in Pool D. They were in Pool D with the DR. So what that means is they play Japan. If you look at both teams' lineups, they're both very good. I mentioned Japan's lineup. Look at Venezuela. They got Ranger Suarez on the bump today. He is now on the Red Sox, but he was with the Phillies last year. We had an outstanding year. And then looking at the lineup, it's pretty good. I mean, you got Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off, former MVP, Michael Garcia, Luis Arias, Eugenio Suarez, Ezequiel Tovar, Gleyber Torres, Willier Abreu, Salvi Perez, and Jackson Churio. Not to mention the Contreras brothers, both on the bench. And the bullpen is pretty good as well. You got Jose Buto, you got Erod, you got well, he's probably more of a starter, I guess, but you got Zerpa. It's a good team. It's a very good team. Do I think they have enough to beat Japan? No, I don't think they have enough, but I do think it's going to be a very close game. And I'm going to take Japan in this game probably 8 times out of 10, but I do expect it to be close and competitive and a fun game. These are two fun teams, both super emotionally invested in the tournament. I think it's going to go the full 9, and I think it's going to be within 3 runs. Probably you're going to see a save situation for probably Japan in this one, but it's going to be close. It's going to be fun, and I'm really looking forward to watching this one. So that's baseball. It's WBC. Yesterday, the Giants had a double header, I think, against the Reds. They lost both games. Um, Landon Roop pitched in the first one. He went 3 innings, struck out 4, gave up 2 earned runs. I mean, that's not the worst. It's not the worst thing. I'm still very high on Landon Roop. In the other game, the starting pitcher was Carson Whisenhunt, who went 3 2/3 and struck out six, gave up just 1 run over those three. He only gave up one hit. He did walk three, so the control still a little bit iffy, but six strikeouts over less than 4 innings is great work, great efficiency. I like that from Wizenhunt. Is it enough to make the team? I still don't think so, but I do expect him to be on the team maybe at some point this year, and definitely his future status is still looking good for SF. Today it's Giants D backs. Adrian Hauser will get the start against Zach Gallen. And so that's that. Looking at the NBA, the Warriors lost yesterday 127 117 to the Timberwolves. I just want to make this point about the Warriors. It's very frustrating to talk about them because injuries have derailed the Warriors season. That's just the truth of the matter. You look at Jimmy Butler, he's hurt. Steph Curry's been out for a while. And it's kind of similar to the 49ers, how their season was derailed from injuries. But the key difference is the 49ers were deep enough and also competent enough in order to, continue to play and play very well and succeed despite the injuries. The Warriors just don't have enough depth and they don't have enough to continue to succeed despite the injuries, and that's the problem. And the Warriors are. It's hard to watch the Warriors. That's the truth. And I am a diehard Warriors fan, and I still will continue to watch. But it's a hard watch because I mean the top players in the Warriors, obviously Steph Curry. He is the best player in the history of this franchise, and he is the most fun to watch. He's out. He's out. He's been out since January. He's missed like 20 games in a row or something. So who's number two? Jimmy Butler. Well, he tore his ACL. He's out for the year. I am a big fan of Moses Moody. I like watching him a lot. But even at his best, he's just a very good role player, 3 and D role player. But he's hurt too. He has a wrist sprain. And other than that, man, you don't really have many players who are fun to watch. I mean, it's a there are a whole bunch of nice young role players. The problem is we don't have those stars that they can, have a roll around. The Warriors are just an incomplete team right now because of the injuries, and it's hard to watch that. That's the truth about that. So we'll move on to hockey because big hockey stuff going on. Yesterday, 2 games. The Oilers lost to the Blues in overtime, and the Kings beat the Islanders. That's big because the Kings now move in front of us to take the final wild card spot. Still over a month to go. Plenty of time for us to get that back. But today's a big challenge for San Jose. We got the Canadiens in Montreal, and they are a very good team. We did manage to beat them a couple of weeks ago in a shootout. Not a shootout. Well, not a shootout in the sense that it went to overtime, but in the sense that it was a very high scoring game. And they're a very good team. Second most goals per game. They are a very efficient team. Taking a look at their power play, they are fourth on the offensive power play. That's pretty good. And they defensively are pretty good as well. So it's going to be a tough game here against the Canadiens. It's definitely the harder one of the back-to-back that we have, with Sunday being the Senators. But it's important to at least try and get some points. If you can get one, that would be great. Two is obviously the best because that's the most you can get. But it's going to be very, very tough to win this game. But I believe we can do it. We just came off beating the Bruins, and that was a tough game as well. And you look around the league at what's happening, and it's a chance for us to gain points on the Kings. And specifically, they play the Devils, who are also a very tough team. And you look at other teams around the league, other Western teams you might have to worry about: the Ducks and the Senators, and then the Kraken play the Canucks. And then the Mammoth play the Penguins. So the Kraken and the Mammoth sort of have kind of favorable matchups. We have a tough one. The Kings have a tough one. But if we're able to manage to get some points here, we can gain points on a lot of teams. That would be nice, especially considering the state of the West right now. Let's take a look at the East just for fun, because we are playing the Canadiens, and they are also fighting for points, very close to one of the top spots in the Eastern Conference. You got the Hurricanes at the top. They have 88. And then after that, you go from 1 to 5. It just takes off 2 points every single time you go down. So just do that math real quick. You have the Hurricanes with 88, and then you take 2 off going down to each team. So it's the Hurricanes, the Sabres, the Lightning, the Canadiens, and the Bruins, all 1 through 5, separated by less than 10 points. Just a win away from moving up and a loss away from moving down if your opponent and the team beneath you is able to get a point. So the Eastern Conference is pretty close up at the top and at the bottom as well. You have the Penguins with 79. They also are, so the Penguins, the Red Wings, and the Islanders all have 79 points. That's 6, 7, and 8. Ninth place, the Blue Jackets with 77, and the Senators have 75 and 10th. So if you look at 1 through 8 in the East, are separated by less than 10 points. In the West, you have the big three at the top and then a complete mess 4 through really 11. And you could even include the Jets in there at 12. And in that case, the Blues at 13. Very, very crowded in the East, 1 through 8, 9, 1 through 10, I guess. And then in the West, you have the big three at the top, the Avs, the Wild, and the Stars, and then a complete jumble at the bottom. And that's where the Sharks are. They're trying to take advantage of that mess and try and sneak their way into a playoff. Not even sneak their way, to earn, fight hard for a playoff spot. That's what we're looking for. And that's what's going on. So, yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode. Um, I don't think. Oh, I was gonna say I don't think I forgot anything. I did. We have to talk F1. F1 is a little bit weird for me because I can't watch the races, which I'm still incredibly mad about. But there was a sprint yesterday, and George Russell won the sprint. Just pulling up the results, it looks like Mercedes is gonna win. It looks like George Russell's gonna win. It is the new rules and regulations, they're still figuring it out. It doesn't look like anybody likes them, but Mercedes likes them because they're winning. They're winning big. Let's take a look at this starting grid for tomorrow's race, the Grand Prix. You have Kimi Antonelli for Mercedes starting at pole, and he is I thought he had a pole in Miami. I could be wrong about that. I guess not, because the big news is that he is the youngest pole sitter in the history of Formula One at 19 years old. He's a special young talent, and he broke the record by a couple of years, age wise, for youngest pole sitter in F1 history, followed by his teammate George Russell at 2, the Ferraris, Hamilton, and Leclerc, and then followed by the McLarens, Piastri, and Norris. That's my team. Then you have Pierre Gasly in the Alpine, Verstappen in the Red Bull 8, his teammate Hadjar 9, Ollie Behrman is 10, and then Hulkenberg, Colapinto, Ocon, Lawson, Lindblad, Bortoleto, Sainz, Albon, Alonso, Bottas, Stroll, and Checo Perez. That's the 1 through 22. It looks, my prediction would be Mercedes running away with it, and followed by Ferrari, and then maybe McLaren, Red Bull battle for the 3, 4 spots team wise. That's what the way it looks like the constructors is shaping up. So we'll see how that goes. Race tomorrow. I'd love to watch it, but I can't. And we'll leave it there before I say something I will regret. So thank you everybody for watching today's episode. We'll have more tomorrow, more WBC to talk about, and hopefully positive hockey talk. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Today's sports day. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.